Okay, so today we are going to be doing exceptions in C, right? I want to kind of make, like, all right, so you know how, like error, like, you know how, like, error no works in POSIX, right? It kind of works in, Windows, but I want to make something that's like not operating system specific. Not operating specific. I want to try and make it thread safe, although that might not be for a couple of streams. I want to try and make it like exceptions in C++ almost. But yeah, we're gonna try and do that today. We're gonna be taking a break from the Go streams for a little bit, just until I figure some shit out. Right, okay. So, we have our hello world. So I think the first thing we're going to do is use the... Yeah, okay. So we're going to make an includes. And in includes, we're going to say, I guess, exception.h. Yeah. Okay, and then do our include guards if and def exception h. And then that define and if. Am I still on the full screen? I'm still in full screen. All right. I'm going to start that over, just for the VOD, yeah. All right, ready? All right, so today we're going to be doing some exceptions in C. I already got everything sort of mapped out and how I want it. So I made our build script. I made a hello world. That was the pre-stream. If you want to see the pre-stream, head on over to the Twitch. If you're on YouTube, link is always in the description. And if you're watching on Twitch, you know, channel, the VOD channel's linked in the channel description in the About page. So, yeah, we're going to be doing exceptions. I already got my header up. And what I want to do is do, let's see. So we're going to make, like, an error. Like, right, so I tried to do this previously, and it kind of, the best way to do it was like enums. Like error no in the standard library. Error number in the standard library. But, yeah, here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up Windows Windows error codes. Is that a thing? System code errors. Okay, invalid function. Is there a lot? There is a lot. It looks like there's a lot. Alright. I might add the list after the stream. Right. But essentially what I want to do, so I have a public repository on my GitHub, written in Golang, that has an exception class. So I kind of want to do this, almost. If you want to sort of get at this repository, I will put the link in the description. Let's add this to the references. Let's do this. All right. Oh, that's the wrong button. There we go. Oh, that's another one of the wrong button. Here we go. My coffee mug is in the way. Okay. So references for today's stream is, yeah, the exceptions in Go. Okay, so that's going to be our references. And I'm going to put this in the chat. So that anyone in the chat can grab at that. Let's see. So we have... Right, so okay. So we have our exceptions. And that's a structure. Right? As well, do I want this on the stack or the heap? The stack, heap, or static memory? That's what we gotta look at first. Do we want this on the stack, heap, or static memory? And do we want it just to be a list of enums? I don't know. You know what? I think I'm going to copy this library directly. Yes, okay, so let's download the raw file. And we're going to open this up. And then we're going to go to our code here. And then this is going to be our reference. Okay. And I can close this folder. Great. Okay, so yeah, let's copy this directly. So let's do typedef struct contrast error. Yeah, let's use error. I know this says exception, but we're gonna use error for right now. So what this does is essentially, in the constructor, you can either have just the basic exception, which constructs a base exception, or you can have a named exception where you give it a name and then a format and an argument, and that just passes things to sprintf. The problem is I can't really do variadic argument, like formatted arguments right now. Because of, like, it's going to be a cyclical reference to buffer if I use this in, like, literally anywhere. I could probably do buffer, yeah, just for right now. But what that does is essentially, so it assigns the name, it just has the name, and then you assign the repper, and you have message, which, like, there's getters and setters, so you assign name, message, and repper, which is redundant, I just realized. Yeah. That's redundant. But whatever. So we're gonna do... Yeah, okay, so this is gonna have const... Oh, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna create, like, an enum. And we're gonna say... names.h. And we're gonna copy these include guards. And we're gonna say names and if there we go. And we're gonna do typedef enum error name. I think that's, yeah, that's good. And we're gonna do an allocation error, right? Or let's do, no, yeah, we're gonna do errors, yeah. Allocation error. Or, yeah, I could just do that. Okay. And then we're going to include names.h. And we're going to say error name. And then we're going to say, I guess, message. Message. And what else does this have? A repr? Do I want to store the repr? Yeah, sure. Const char repr. Right? Can I say it's... Or no, yeah, these can't be consts. Well, you know what? No, let's mark them const for right now, and we'll get to that when we cross that road. Okay, so let's create a constructor. Let's say right. Should this be on the heap? Right, because as far as I know, error no is in static memory, right? Okay, let's go to Google. Man error no. Here we go. Flashbang warning. Probably should have said that. All right, let's see. Is error no static? Let's see. It's not a simple static variable. Well, it's a thread safe. Yeah. Blah 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 blah. Okay, I guess thread safe is thread safe, right? Set a macro to find such as which returns a pointer to the specific memory location. Stored in static memory. Stored in thread local store, not a single. Okay. Okay, fair enough. So no, I think I'm going to allocate this on the stack. Yeah, okay. So error no t new error new error. Should I say new error? Or no, error init. Yeah, okay, error init, which is gonna take no, I think that's fine. Error init, error t error init with name, which is an error. Oh, yeah, okay, so then we have the const message error name, and then const char message. There we go. Okay. And let's make our include guards. I'm gonna make this error, error, error.h, and we're gonna say error. There we go. Okay. And then can do if def error implementation, and if let's just do initialization of an error, and then we're going to, in main, we're going to, we're going to say includes error.h and define. I know I spelled define incorrectly. Error implementation. There we go. Okay. Let's do. Let's open. We have main open, and then come on. I need my syntax highlighting. Oh, maybe, yeah, maybe I could do, yeah, this as well. Yeah, okay. Const char pointer error name to string, which takes in an error name. Error name, and yeah, that's fine. And then if def name error error name implementation, and if, there we go. Main error, there we go. Okay. Let's see, and then go to error define. And okay, so init with name, we are going to return an error t, and we're going to say, whoops, name is, oh, yeah, okay, and then names, we're going to say base error. I think that's fine. Is base error. And say message MAGE is equal to MESSAGE. Do I have to put a comma? A semicolon? And repr is equal to null. Do I not have null? Identifier null is undefined. Yep, fair enough. Include stdlib. Where else is null defined? Let's use null. Header. Can I do man null? stddef. Okay, well, alright, so let's use stddef instead of standard lib. .h, and that's used for null. Okay. And does that work? Alright, so let's do error t error, which is equal to error init, and I'm just going to do that for right now. And we're going to do message, this is a test. I think that's fine. Oh, and then let's print out How can I check this structure? So in Golang it's pretty easy, but in C it's because that's essentially right. I guess okay. %s. This is the name. Error. Name. I don't care about Windows safety. Name, okay. But argument 2 is an unassigned int. What? Oh, okay. Let's say right, MESS. Or no. Let's look at the repr, because I want this to be null. The repr. There we go. Let's try this. Repr null. Right. Okay. Let's try message. Bin compile. I don't have to keep building. Well, no. Yeah, I do. Okay. Builds. So what we did on the pre-stream. This is a test. Okay. So everything's set correctly. And then we're going to do this. And we're going to say switch on the name. And by the default case, we're going to and then break. We're going to return I guess exception. Right. So let's look at the name. And we're going to say error named string, error name. Let's try this. Is that going to work? Yes, it is. Okay. Awesome. First try. I mean, you know, like we did anything, really. Okay. Init with name is... Or actually, yeah, what I can do is copy this and then just return error init with name base error and message. And we're going to say name. And that still works? That should work, as far as I know. Yeah, alright, so to get it to stop complaining about printf, I'm going to do that. Exception. It works, okay. And then init with name. And we're going to do allocation error. And that's going to be... exception y. Printf name, or no, this is yeah, we're gonna call this hit, which is what I do when I'm checking to see where a condition hit. Let's see. Yeah, I know I don't have printf, whatever. Hit, okay, an exception. Why? Oh, because I don't have... Right, okay. And then case... Allocation error. Break. Return allocation error. Exception. Allocation, let's do error. I know I'm mixing up errors and exceptions. That's on purpose. Just really for style. Yeah. If you want me not to do that, put it in the comments if you're on YouTube. Let's look for engagement, you know? Or farm for engagement, or whatever. Oh, Jesus. And then I want to add the GCC enum switch warning. Switch enum. Okay. That's fine. Let's do W switch enum. Numeration. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, so I think the default. You know, I think that's fine. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I'm good with that. Been run name. Oh, wait, no. Yeah, because name is accept anyway, so. There you go. Okay, allocation error. That's fine. Alright, so we have our initialization code. Now let's do setters and getters, I guess? Or no, because these are public. Yeah. I wish there was a way to make things private in C. There really isn't, but there should be. Let's see. I guess I should, I don't know, assign repr or something, or like make it to string method. I don't know. Let's see here. I don't know if I should store the repr. Know what I mean? I think these two are good enough, and then you can just make a toString method. Know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's okay. That's fine. And we're gonna say error. No, and then yeah, I think you can have like a global error state, right? Yeah. Okay. I think what I'm gonna do is we're gonna say. Or no, we're gonna say error t so this is an error, and this is gonna be in static memory. I guess error? Yeah. Yeah, okay. So we're going to call this just error. And right now this just is equal to null, I think. Can I do that? No. I guess, well, 0? Right? Can I just 0 this out? Right, because if I... Alright, so if I 0 this out... If I 0 this out, the first thing that's going to be set is... Right? Let's see. If I 0 this out, right, so the first thing that's going to be set is... Ah, okay, alright. Here's where we fix things. I'm going to say... not set. There we go. And then default is going to be not set. And then we do this and this. Oh, no. That was right. That was just, there we go. And then we're going to say base error, and that's going to return exception. And then that shuts up the compiler as far as I know. Am I correct? Come on. Ah, okay, here we go. Has no member named repper. Ah, yes, okay, that's correct. So that's fine. That's all I have to do. Fair enough, fair enough. Not set, not handled in switch. Oh, okay, fair enough. Allocation error. Good. And then if I get rid of this, that's gonna still work. And not set. Right? Or, oh, yeah. Instead of not set, we're gonna say, we're gonna say okay. Yeah, so like there is no exception. That's good. That's good. Okay. Yep. So no exception has been set. Yeah, I like that. I like that. I do. Okay. So that's fine. So error, the name. So if I 0 this out, which is what I'm doing here, then the error name will be error okay, indicating there's no error. And then the message will be null, I think, right? Let's do error message and see if that is a thing. Yep. Okay, so that's null. Great, cool. So then we're gonna do, in the reference we have an is method, which is right here, and we're gonna say a boolean, which of course I think I have to include. Yep, gotta love C, doesn't have default booleans, and that's used for bool. And we're gonna say error is, yeah, fine. We're gonna say error Error T, error O. How do I call this? Right. You know what? I think I'm going to put 2 underscores under this because you're not really supposed to use that. Per se. This is all going to be set internally. And that's kind of why I'm writing this library. So error is, we're going to call this error. And then we're going to say exception, or error name is the name. Okay, and that's fine. And we're going to do this. And it is literally just checking equality. Return error dot name is equal to name. Yeah. Okay. That's fine. So, yeah, let's see. And then we're going to say, all right, error is, and then, how are we going to access the error? Let's see. Should I just do like setters and getters? Yeah, okay. And then, right, so because this is not going to be public anymore, we're going to do that. And yeah, okay. And then we're going to do const char, I guess, error to string, error to stir, right? Because the default C ways, libc way to do it is like stir error, which is okay, right? But I want to like differentiate it between stir error and like using our header. And then that's going to take error T error, right? Or no? I don't know. Yeah, maybe this is not going to take anything. So we're going to do void. And we're essentially going to return. I need to invest in like a good C formatter. You know, if anyone knows like a decent C formatting, you know, let me know in the comments if you're on YouTube or if you're watching on Twitch. Put it in the chat. You know. So error to string. Let's see. Go to error. How am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? Because this is essentially a sign. If we go to our reference, this error to string is essentially our repr here. It's this. But I don't want to use sprintf. That's kind of the problem here. Yeah. Because that means using the buffer implementation within kata, which is a mess to begin with. And right, like why we're designing this is essentially because of kata. Like this is going to be implemented into kata and a variety of other of my my libraries. So let's see. We're gonna do error to string, and this is gonna pull from the global error here. Huh. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, no, that's reading. Okay, I thought that was assigning. I'm stupid. Right, so we're gonna essentially do... Alright, let's include the buffer. Let's do it. Let's do it. Fine. Because I don't really see any way around... I mean... Yeah, I don't really see any way around it. I mean, I could, like, define, like a static buffer and just kind of do regular SNPrintf or regular SPrintf. You know what? Actually, that's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Char pointer. Error buffer. And that's going to be... let's define error buffer size. Yeah, let's do 256 for right now. Error buffer size, and that's going to be all zeros for right now. It's going to be zeroed out. I know it's in static memory and doesn't really need to be zeroed out, but that's what we're going to be doing for right now. And my convention, as you can tell, for static variables are not static variables, private variables. They can be static. Are double underscore. Just because I found it's harder for people to use. Like, yeah, technically these are public. You know, like if I go to main, because I have error implementation defined, I can technically use double underscore error, right? But it's harder to find, essentially. Like, so if I want to do something, right, I'm gonna have to do error. You know, like I have to genuinely scroll down. You know, I found in that list standard lib's error, libc's error before I found my own. So, which is good. It's that's expected. That's what I want. Okay, where are we? So error to string, I think, yeah, all right, we are, I think, just gonna use SPrintf, like regular SPrintf. Right. So we're gonna call SPrintf, right, or sign repper. Yeah. I'm gonna call SPrintf yeah. Okay. SPrintf destination is the error buffer, and the format is %s, which is the exception name, and then the exception message. Yeah. And then we're going to add in a null byte just for shits. And then we're going to do error name to string. Error dot name. And then error dot message. That should work. And then we're going to return the error buffer. Let's see how this works. Yeah, Windows and threat protection. Ah, okay. Oh. Okay. let's do, this is going to be our error. And we're going to say this is error. Your to stir. Error okay nil. What the fuck? Oh, okay. So this is our error. That's fine. All right. What are our warnings here? Okay, so let's bin compile. Null.c. Oh, that's right. Because I set this to null. Main. Bin builds. It's going to give us the same errors. Fair enough. And then let's see, bin compile. There we go. Okay, so let's see what's up. The switch, okay, and then here 51. What's the warning implicit decorator of sprintf? That's correct. So I need to include stdio, which is using sprintf. Okay, compile. Switch, passing one argument from incompatible pointer type. Okay. Incompatible pointer type. Why? Oh, that's why. Okay. Because it's not a buffer of pointers, it's a buffer of chars. That's correct. Embedded null byte. Yeah, alright, fine. Compile. And then now the only warning we get is the enumeration. Okay, which is fine. Alright, so bin builds. Okay, null, correct. That is correct. And then we're gonna say, let's see. And then, so this is going to be how you set the error, which is going to be, I guess, void raise, right? Right, so that is null. Or error dot, right, so let's do a ternary here. So if error message, then error message, else just an empty string. I think that's fine, right? Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, and then we're gonna do void raise. We're gonna do error name and const char message. Right? Yeah. Okay. So raise. We're going to return... Right. And then... Or, right, yeah, okay, so... Error raise. And then void error... Okay? No. How are we gonna do this? So I want to do like, so yeah, actually let's put this in main C. So I want to have like a function, right? So let's say func, oh, that's go. Say like void, right? It doesn't return anything. It doesn't return anything, and we're gonna say fail, I guess. Sure, why not? And this is gonna take in a name, or no, actually let's call this foo. Yeah, let's call this foo, because fail is too suggestive of a name, and I mean by suggestive I mean towards like the idea of a program failing. So like if I would call fail, I know people are gonna say, oh well, you know, you have fail there, just use fail. That's not what I'm getting at. So foo, right? And this is just gonna print foo, and then I'm gonna say, well, no, foo, and then, yeah, okay. Or no, actually, yeah, let's do like an allocation. Yeah, let's do a real world example. Let's do like an allocation. So we're gonna do, let's see, how can I, yeah, all right, so let's do a void pointer alloc, size t size, and this can fail. Yeah, so and then we're gonna do void resize, void pointer memory, and we're gonna say void, this doesn't return anything, and free, right? Just so name clashing doesn't happen, we're gonna put an underscore there. Void star memory. All right, so this is our real world example. Okay, so to alloc, we're going to say, void star memory is equal to malloc of size, and if memory, or if null is equal to memory, then we're gonna error raise we're gonna error raise allocation error, and this is gonna be it's gonna be a message, can not allocate enough bytes. Sure, why not? That's fine. And then we're going to return null. Else, we do, yeah, okay, so the success return is memory. Fair enough. Okay, so resize, which is going to be an allocation error as well, so I might as well copy this. There we go. And we're going to say realloc. Resize, okay. Size t scale. New size, sure. new size in bytes. So it's going to be realloc. We're going to do memory. Do I have to make that a double pointer? Does realloc need a double pointer? Self does not require as an argument, but if you need to use a calling a function to update a pointer. Yeah, okay, because all right, so where's the mutability? Where's the ownership here? All right, where's the ownership here? Do I want to make a view of this, or... Oh, this doesn't return. Okay. We're just going to resize the memory. So yeah, okay, I think the ownership is on the double pointer. Okay, that's fair. And then memory. And if null, cannot reallocate, yeah. Reallocate enough bytes, return, I don't have to return anything. Or actually, what I can do... No, yeah, that's fine. And I don't need to return here. Right? Because realloc... Yeah, we're gonna reallocate the array. Yeah. So now... Right, because realloc returns an int. Oh, yeah, I have to include stdlib for realloc, malloc, realloc, free, and null. And that is used for printf. Yeah. Right, hold on. Okay, so in my dynamic arrays, where do I use realloc? How is realloc used? I just have to, like, brush up on realloc. At append, data, combine, resize by, error message, handle. Oh, resize. I scrolled right past it. Realloc, you assign the items, and then... Oh. Items is a double pointer. Okay, does realloc change the memory passed in? Can change the memory address of the block you passed in. Okay. So original pointer failure is still void, do not lose it. What will realloc do to the old pointer? Here we go. Alright, the behavior is not really correct. Also, don't do it in main, like without int returned. Shut up. Even be able to change the pointer. I don't know. I don't care. Pointer still point to the same address, but the content is changed. I see. Okay. Ah. Yeah, okay. Just so that can compile. Right. All right. You know what? I'm gonna work with that for right now and see what happens. So free. Okay. Let's do if not memory return, else we're going to free memory. And then memory is equal to null. Yeah, I think that's fine. Okay. All right, so then we do void star array is equal to... oh, actually, you know what? Let's make a char array. Yeah. Let's make a... or an int array. Int array. There we go. And we're going to do... we're going to cast it to an int array, and we're going to say allocate. Alloc. Size, let's do 5 or 3 integers. The size of, right? Size of int. Fine. Okay, so we have our array, and then of course we want to do if error is, or if not, error is okay. Error, okay, yeah. So we're gonna have to do we're gonna have to make like an error okay just to access this. Okay. Bool error okay. And yeah, I think that's gonna be void. Which I can do this. Return error is equal to, or return error is error and okay. Yeah, that's fine. And then for raise, we're gonna do error is equal to error init with name message. Huh? Right? If... Now, how do I check for, like... No, I think I'm just gonna assign. I think I'm gonna assign. That's fine. Right? Because if you have, like, a previous error on there... If you have a previous error... like, you're going to assign it. You're gonna overwrite that. And that's what I want. Yeah. Okay, so if not error okay, and that does not take in any parameters, we're going to fprintf, and that's going to use standard error. Actually, yeah. Let's do that. And we're going to do fprintf to standard error. Yeah, okay. And then maybe I could do, like, I don't know, like error catch or something like that. Or like error print. Right? I don't know. Or like fail. Yeah, okay, alright. I think that's what we're going to do. So we're going to do void error fail. And I think that's also going to be void. So So let's do error fail. And what this is going to do, this is going to fprintf to standard error. This is going to do %s new line. Error or err to string. Error. Right. If error okay, return. Right. Error to stir. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't need to pass anything in. Okay, and then I think that's it. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We're gonna do error fail and return a non-zero exit code. Else, or I guess error check. Should I do error check? Yeah. You know, I think I can delete command, by the way. I think error fail should take in like the sync. You know what I mean? Like the output pointer. Yeah, okay. So let's do file, stream, sure. File, stream, and let's do file, stream, there you go. And this is gonna be stream. You know, because if we're using a logger, we could pass in, say, like the logger's internal file, for example. So it'll log that. Right. Okay. So fail. Let's do standard error. That's okay. Yeah. And then I don't know. I want to do if not okay. And this check might be superfluous. Right, do we leak any memory if this fails? No, because it never allocated anything in the... Right, okay. If malloc returns null, is that a memory leak? No, malloc returning null is not a memory leak. It is an allocation failure. Okay. That is a very important distinction I had to make. Fair enough. Right, okay. So error fail. And then I guess we should add some things to the array that we have here. I0, I is less than, I guess 3. I plus plus. Or plus plus I. Right? Because that's going to give you 0, 1, 2. Which is 3 ints. Okay. Yep. Array at I is equal to I. Sure. If the size of... Oh, shit. Yeah, I can't really resize. That's fine. That's okay. I'm really tempted to just make a dynamic array of integers, like a full-blown dynamic array. But I think that's too stupid for this example. Or too, sorry, detailed, not stupid. I'm gonna copy this. And then we're gonna print out the array. Print f I is equal to %d, new line, and we're going to do array at I. And then we're going to free. We're going to do free. There we go. And memory, we're going to pass in the address of our array. And let's see if this works. As far as I know, this should work. 0, 1, 2. Okay. Great. There we go. Builds. With incompatible pointer type. Yeah, I know. I don't know. Does free make that distinction? Right, so if I passed in an int array, no, free does not make that distinction. So why does our free make that distinction? I'm just going to keep that for right now. But yeah. Right, okay, and then I'm gonna say, and then we're gonna, like, fail. Right, or, Boolean fail, just for testing. So we're gonna say, if fail, we're gonna do error raise allocation error, fail was tripped. Fail trap was tripped. Okay, and then I'm gonna say return. No. It's fine, yeah. Alright, let's try this. Oh, yeah, okay. And then I forgot. Let's say true for right now. Let's see here. Allocation error. Fail trap was tripped. Good. This is compilable. Yes. Okay. And then what I want to do is then do, like, get line numbers. First time chat, what's good? Damn, Rodil Jub, am I getting your name correctly? What's good? What's good is we're fucking doing errors in C. And it's working. Surprisingly. Right? Alright, so let's do, let's see. Okay, so we can do somewhat correctly. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, if you see the previous VODs, a lot of things didn't go well. So yeah, this is surprisingly going well, you know? Okay, I'm distracted, sorry. So we want the file number. So in the error reporting, we want the file name. We want the... Oh, somewhat correctly. Are you saying that I got your name correctly? Correct? Is it Yub? Is it Slavic? I don't know. All right. So, okay. In the error reporting, we need the... we need the line number. right? I'm trying to essentially recreate Panic from Go, you know? Which Panic? Let's see. I'm going to do a main.go package. Yeah, it's a Serbian name, but doesn't matter. Make your program. Fair enough. I don't mind chatting. And you know, if I do mess something up in chat, please tell me. Like I just get very easily distracted. Funk main panic hello worlds. Go run main go. Okay, so what does panic do? Panic gives us the file name, the line number, and then the offset, the byte offset. Okay. I was assuming you had a certain nationality because of small detail in that. Yeah. Believe it or not, in a previous stream, I was asked if that's a Serbian flag. Yeah, I mean, you know, it might turn people off of my stream. I don't know. I haven't, you know, bruh. Yeah, I know. I mean, like, yeah, you said you were Serbian, right? Or had a Serbian name or whatever. Yeah, so I could see how that'd be a little, yeah. I mean, you know, close enough. You know, I don't really want to get into geopolitics right now, but yeah, the two nationalities are very aligned on the global stage. But yeah, no, like leave it to I'm assuming a fellow Slav to correctly recognize the yeah. I at least I assume you correctly recognized it. Anyway, let's see. Okay, so we get the file name and then the line number. You know what? I'm gonna see something, right? Okay, so nope. We all know Solding's nob.h, right? Because that's what I'm going to check out for a minute. Just for ideas. Nob. Okay, so I want to check where he uses the file macro, which I think is double underscore. It spells out the country on the flag. It does, right? Well, you know, it's not in English, so, you know, people don't necessarily understand what it says. So, you know, I'm a devil's advocate in that regard. Okay, so go rebuild yourself. Fair enough. And then I'm looking for the definition of that, because I'm looking for where he's using, like, how he's getting the line numbers, what, right, okay, so uses the file and the line. We're just using file and line. Okay. I think that's okay. I think we could just do file and line for right now, and then character reporting can be whatever. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the character reporting can be whatever. So we're going to get the line number, or we're going to get the file name, and then I think in parenthesis I'm going to do parenthesis or parentheses. English is hard. Yeah, is parenthesis its own plural? I don't know. Right, okay, so then we're going to get the file. Yep. Whoops. And then line. I have caps lock on. Okay. We're going to do that. Does that work? File and line only makes sense in macros here, but it's going to be the line of the function. Well, that's what we're figuring out at the moment. And you would be right. You would be right. Which is a problem. Let's see. Google. How to get line... Well, I mean, I guess I could make like a macro. Yeah. I guess I can make a macro. Any suggestions in chat? I don't really want to make a macro, but I'm kind of heading there. Let's see. Easy solution, making a macro instead of a function. Yeah. I don't really want to do that, though. Like, is there a way to do that without using macros? I don't know of one for making a macro of pass file inline as char arguments, I think. Okay. Yeah. That's kind of where I'm headed. Is kind of just making it a macro, but... Yeah, like, I guess what I can do... What I could do is, I guess, make a panic function. Right? Like, I know libc has abort. Line and char arguments to the function. But, okay, so I kind of want that to be automatic, getting the file and the line. I don't want to have to pass it in for, like, the API purposes, you know? So I think what I'm going to do is just define, like, a panic macro. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna make like a panic macro. So let's define panic. I think. Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Okay. I don't think that's possible without a macro. Yeah. I don't know. I'll do a little research after the stream, but for right now, I think we're just going to do the simpler way and just do a macro. So what I'm going to do is not do this. Right? Yeah, okay. And then do, like, underscore error to string. Let's make this a private function. You're not a fan of macros? No. As a design choice, I'm not a fan of macros. Because one, they're easy, or not easy to debug. You kind of have a hierarchy, you know, that you kind of have to go through. And two, readability. Like, if I'm looking at a macro, I don't know how that's going to expand at runtime. So, like, if I'm reading something, you know, and you have, say, a macro of, here, let me try and think what I'm trying to say. So, like, if you have, like, a macro function that does this complex logic, there's no way of saying, like, this does... Yeah, you could, like, go into the definition and read it, but there's no way of just, like, looking at it and, oh, this does this, and this expands to that. So, no, I'm not a fan of macros. If I have to use them, I'll use them, but I use macros as, like, a last resort. And I think for the API purposes of this, it will be easier to do file inline to use a macro. So, yeah, we're going to do error to string. And, right, because if you think about it, the API of this, the sort of, like, entry of this, the whatever, yeah, is going to, man, you could hate Swanson text map micro. I don't necessarily know what you're talking about. If you want to post a link in chat, I'll check it out personally. Let's see if I will hate it. Right, okay, so I don't think error to string should necessarily, right, because if we look in the main C file, okay, there's a link. I'm going to check that out in a minute. I just want to get through this thought. So yeah, we're not using error to string anywhere in the main file. Right? That I think error to string is an internal thing. So I can make that a private function and then make like a macro of panic. Which is going to, yeah, all right. Which is going to essentially be error to string, excuse me. But with file in line. So we're going to say, what's the type of file? Do I have any type hinting on that? Or no, we're going to say, all right, so we're going to say, I guess, is it char file and int? Is line an int? VS Code's not giving me syntax highlighting, and I can't control click. Yeah, we're gonna say an int line. I think that's fair. File line. So this is going to take in nothing, right? Yeah, okay. All right. Can you do void with macros? We're gonna do it anyway. And then error to string, which is going to take in file and line. Cool. And then do I use error to string anywhere that I have to refactor this? Yes, okay. Oh, okay, yeah, so we're going to, I guess, panic? You know what, I think in terms of, like, I think panic implies that you're going to fail. You know what, like, it's a crashing state. Panic implies crashing state. Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Yeah. All right, so let's do underscore fail. And that's going to be, and that's going to use, that's going to get your stream. This is the internal implementation. All right, so there's more. Better off treating both as strings because you can't just line or something like that. Have to think about the expansion order, though. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Yes, you're right. So file or fail. Sorry. We're gonna do const char path and int line. So we're gonna do this is going to be error to string, and we're going to do right, error to string, or do we want to panic? Right, path line. Yeah, no, that's right. And then here we do oh shit. Let's see here. This is perplexing. Because now we have, like, when panic gets expanded, yeah. Or I don't know, maybe we could just make this error to string. Yeah. Error to string, and then, like, we don't have to worry about like a panicking state at all. You know what I mean? Which then I can make this macro private. Oh, okay. That's going to take a single underscore because we already have a double underscore. Error to string. There we go. And then path and line. Oh, okay. And then that's going to be that. Right? Yeah. Right. And then error fail. Yeah, that's fine. Error fail. Or no, fail. And then we're going to do this. Where is it? We're going to do this, and we are going to call fail with stream. And we don't use these anymore. Oh, well then, yeah, okay, that's fine. I don't know, is that gonna work? Let's see if that works. And don't worry, I haven't forgot about in that link, by the way. I do just want to get through this thought. Okay, 75. Yeah, that's gonna expand here. Okay. It's interesting. It's interesting. Yeah, okay, so what I guess I can do is do panic. We're gonna do panic. And we're going to fail. Or error fail. We're gonna call error fail. And this is going to... Oh, alright, so can I call private methods? Is that a thing? Let's see. Error to string. There we go. Can I call private methods? Is that a thing? Oh, yeah, okay. So I haven't used, panic. Why you got all the function implementations in the header? Isn't that a thing you're not supposed to do? Trust me on this. I'm not a developer, just E. Okay. So yes, okay, you can use right, so, okay, so the definitions in, okay, so you said you weren't a developer, but this is an STB style library. It's a single file header. What you do is you just include the header in wherever your translation unit is, C file, essentially, and you could do error implementation. Here, you know what? I'm going to put, if you want to read up more about that, we're going to do STB, GitHub. We're going to do, let's see. We're going to do, did he get rid of the, I guess, is it README? I don't know. There was like an about for, I guess, docs. Yeah, docs. STB how to. There we go. All right, I'm going to put this in chat if you want to read up more about why the definitions are in the header file. What do you mean private methods? So, yeah, okay, so C doesn't necessarily have private methods, I know. But the convention and nomenclature I'm using is to do double underscores for methods that are not public. In the sense of, like, you're really technically not supposed to use them, you know, that aren't defined in the header here, in the header portion of the file. So like, as you can see, error to string, right? Normally in C, I would have to define a function before where I use it, or in a header of sorts. But as you can see, like the double underscore error to string is not defined anywhere above this macro. So that's what I was testing, is if I could do that, and it looks like I can. So we're gonna do panic, and I'm gonna call fail here. And we're gonna get rid of error fail. We're gonna comment that out. Yeah, and then we're gonna do fail. And that's gonna take, oh, I guess, well, that should take a stream, I guess. Yeah. Stream. Oh, okay, yeah. Another reason I don't like macros is you can't necessarily define a type. I'm a very big advocate for, was it like type annotations? You know, being strongly typed. Do I double underscore fail or single underscore? I single underscore. All right, that's double underscore. And this is gonna call error to string, which is going to take in const char file and int line file line. There we go. And then wrap that in parenthesis, stream. Can by abusing generic. See, generic, I don't know. I don't trust generic. That's the whole thing. You know, like, yeah, you can use it essentially to define X macros, but I really don't trust, like, the, how do I put this? I don't think, like, generic is something people should be using, you know? Like, especially with the single underscore prefix to it. Like, I take that as, you know, someone who's coming from, like, Python and someone who's coming from, like, those sorts of languages where a single underscore before that is an implementation, which also kind of answers your private method question earlier. But yeah. So, like, a single underscore prepended is, like, technically you're not supposed to use it. So, yeah, I just don't. It's really personal preference. I just don't like generic. And plus, as far as I know, this is fine, right? So we have, right, so we're going to do the panic macro. What we're going to do is a panic macro. There we go. That's fine. Okay, and then let's see if that works. Main C at 35. Yep, that works. Right? Yeah. But I guess panic should be defined here. So, like, panic should be error raise. Yeah. Okay. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a little break. When I come back, I guess they did make type of into just type of recently, I think. Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. So we're going to take a little break. And when we come back, we're going to kind of make panic, instead of it being like fail, we're going to have it be like error raise. Yeah. Yeah. And then we're also going to check out the enjoy your break. I will. I'll be like 2 minutes. Uh, then we're going to check out that link that was posted in chat, just for little shits and giggles, and see what's up. I'm gonna be right back. So let's get back to this. So we're gonna do. I don't know. Okay, so should I do error to string? Because, right, okay, so the global error here. Right, okay, so what is the API here? The API is error raise, and then you check if error okay, and then you panic. And I don't want to like store the state of like the line number and the file in the error structure, simply because that's not like the scope. That's not the responsibility of error. It just has a name and a message, right? But that is one way around doing this, is to store the state, like do const char line or line. Like, yeah, that is one way I could do this. I don't want to, because that adds responsibility onto the error. Okay. Let's see. So I think error raise. Yeah, I think so. Panic. So I think panic instead of failing. Instead of failing. Should set the line number. It should be like error raise. Instead of fail. Because right, if you look here, you know, yeah, okay, it panics in the correct spot. It panics at 35, right? Let's run this. Bin run. It panics at 35 here, but the error doesn't happen at 35. The error happens at 11. Huh. Yeah. Which is a bummer. You know? And I think, right, error fail. Huh. But yeah, like error to string, like you get the, yeah. Error fail. I don't think error fail should use that. Well, I mean, I guess. Damn. All right. Let's see. Fuck. I'm trying to think about how I can make it like raise, you know, and how I can make it go to 11 instead of. How long have we been streaming for, by the way? 2.25 hours. Okay. That's a lot. And right, okay, so I could end stream here. I could say that this is a success, but it really isn't. You know. We're gonna do. Let's see. Init with name. And we can do error to string. Error name to string and error message. Right, so if that's error message. Error raise. Yeah, I don't know. And like I could look into like, you know, in POSIX there's set jump and long jump, but they're not on Windows. I can kind of look into doing that, but I don't want to right now. We've been going for 2.25 hours. That might be next stream or after stream or something like that. Let's see. We got error. You know what? Maybe I could just do that. Yeah, maybe I could just do. So let's put error fail here, and then yeah, and then in panic we could do. Panic, we could, instead of in the stream, yeah, we can do name message, and instead of doing fail, we can do error raise, and or I can do underscore raise, there we go, and error raise. Right, is fail. Oh, but how is that? Yeah. So underscore raise is going to error raise, right? Underscore raise. No. Yeah, that's not... Yeah. I guess I could do a while true macro, or do while macro. Do while 0. That's something I could do. I don't want to, but yeah. So error fail. Panic is going to take in... Yeah, so stream... raise. Name and message, I guess. Raise, yeah, okay, so then it's going to take a name and a message. And I don't think you need to wrap them in parentheses, but I'm going to do it anyway. Right. So this is name, message, const char file, and then an int of line. We're gonna then do is right, so if I call panic here, right, if I call panic here, then I want it to fail here. Yeah. Whereas just raising an error is just setting the error. Yeah. Okay. So panic is going to panic is going to fail, and it's going to raise. And then error fail, I think it's just going to call fail. Right. No, yeah, never mind. Okay, so let's do that. And let's do... Why is this... Error name as names. Raise name message. Do I have a double definition? Why is this happening? Oh, okay, alright, so then we're gonna do underscore, right, is error raise, which is name and message, and then fail with, oh, I guess, well, yeah, the stream as well. Yeah. File stream. So that raises an exception. Stream. File and line. Okay. Now, why do I have these errors? I should not have these errors. Let's comment this out. I still have these errors. Why? Everything has a semicolon. Error name is not a type name, but it is. In here, it is a type name. Okay. Why is this a problem? Here, let me redo everything. Alright, so main C, error H. Oh, maybe is it because of this? No. Error name is a type name. Can I rename names? Error.h. Name. Okay. How about if I comment this out? Does that work? Yes. Why? And this is going to be restream. All right, let's get rid of the parentheses. Maybe that'll do it. No? Still, why is this a thing? All right, single underscore raise. Okay, single underscore raise. That works for some reason, and I have no idea why. Yeah, so error raise. And then fail. Okay, so let's compile. Switch, fair enough. Implicit declaration of fail. Oh, okay, because I have to do this. That's fine. And then panic. Oh, okay, yeah, so standard error. We're gonna do error, not raise, error, is it error fail? Do I want to do error fail? I do want to do error fail. Stream, right? Yeah. I guess I could do like panic, right? Let's see. So panic, and then fail. Huh. Fail trap was tripped, yeah, okay. And then okay, yeah, so we're going to define a separate function of error fail, which takes in the file stream leaving hatred in his wake. A nation that no one won't do bend but never break. I have True Believer stuck in my head. We're listening to that in the pre-stream. Error fail. Just gonna do that, right? So, okay, so if we just set the error, if we just raise an error, you know, if we propagate an error, which is what we're doing here. I don't know, you just want to use a bunch of panics everywhere? Right, because raise is just setting an error. It is not, it's not going to print, it's just setting an error. Okay. But I want to get the line numbers too. That's the thing. Fuck. I guess panic. And then maybe I could just define raise. Yeah, and then just, yeah. Define raise. Sure. And that's going to take a stream. And that's going to be... Right? Is that going to be a stream? Error raise. Or, you know, yeah, we're going to fail. Let's say fail. Yeah. Yeah. Because then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that that is going to return... Is it error to string? Yeah, okay. Error to string, and that's going to take in file and line. Yep. going to take in file and line. And then so now if an error is raised, we're going to fail, and that's going to take in standard error. Right? Or I guess... Or no. Actually, yeah, let's do error... Error to stir. There we go. Okay. And we're gonna say fprintf no, yeah, hold on, give me a second. Error to string, right, raise, and then fail. Right. Right? Huh. Because we raise here, where we get the stream. And then, right, so we raise, which takes in a name message, and then it fails. Okay. Then error OK, and if not error OK, right. Error to string file line. Okay, maybe we just fail. Alright, and then error to string gets the error buffer, file line, error name. Where it's not, well, no, we actually do have to, well, no, yeah, okay, so we're gonna fail. And fail gets file line and string. Okay. Alright, that's fair enough. So then this is going to be, if not error okay, if an error was raised, then we fail into standard error. And I think that's fine. Okay, let's see. That's fine. Alright, and then bin run. And failed trap was tripped at 11. That is correct. Failed trap was tripped. That is correct. And then at 35. Okay. Or I don't know, maybe just panic is the way to go. Maybe screw setting an error and just panic is the way to go. I'm going to try that. I'm going to try that. Just panic. And then I don't necessarily need to do this. If not error okay. Right, because, yeah. I think panic is then going to call exit. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do while 0. Right? Is that correct? Expected a declaration. What? Do while in C. Alright, so maybe I do have to just do that. Let's see. Do. Is burning around. Oh, well, yeah, maybe I could just do this on a single line. Oh. Is it because of that? It is because of that. Ah. Okay. Fair enough. File line. Yeah, and then raise, so it gets stream name. And then, right, so we're gonna raise, and we want to panic. Yeah. All right, hold on. Let's see what we have so far. Implicit declaration of fail. That's right. Okay. And then fail just fails. Right? And then we want to do raise and then exit. 1. Oh, and then there we go. There we go. And that panics. There we go. And then if I say false. Oh, build. Then it should fail at 35. Or it doesn't fail. And then just for shits and giggles, we're gonna error raise. We're gonna do this. There we go. Error raise. Allocation error, and we're going to, yeah, and here we're going to if array free array, the address of array, and then a semicolon. And I think this might be it. I think this might be a success. 36 allocation error cannot, and we go to 36, it's fail. Right? Whereas then we do okay. It's gonna return because it's not gonna. Yeah. That's a success. That is a success. Kind of rare we have a success on this channel. Kind of rare we have a success. But right, yeah, so we allocate the array. And if it can't allocate enough memory, that should be a crashing state, so we're going to panic. To standard error. Right, we're going to panic to standard error. I wish I didn't need to do that, but kind of do. Right, because raise takes a stream. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I think that's okay. Because then what I can do is alloc, I could pass in, say, I don't know, a logger of sorts, right? Yeah, so logger. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. Let's pass in a logger. Let's define logger. And I don't want to have to deal with files right now, so let's just do log.log. Logger implementation include builds kata lib c logger. There we go. And that's going to be a logger t, right? Yeah. Logger. And of course that's going to be a const, right? Logger log I think is a const. Yeah, so we're going to say logger outputs at 0. We're going to do a file. And yep. And we're going to copy this. This is just superfluous. We already have a successful state. And then we're going to do, let's create our logger. Logger t. Logger. The name is crash. Sure. And its default is log debug. Of course, we need to say logger init. And then we're going to logger delete because it's heap allocated. Again, this is all superfluous. And then logger delete. Expands to function call 0. Yeah. Oh, and then pass in logger. And we're going to do logger, add file, logger, and this is going to be log.log. And then we're going to do, I think logger delete calls logger close, correct? Yes, it does. Okay. And then we're going to do this. See what happens. So this should not print to standard output. It doesn't. Good. But we don't have any logs. Okay, then true. Okay, I think that might do it. Error cannot, and then the log is yes! Yes! And then if we go to main at 14, panic right there. That's a success. That is a success. We've only been doing this for 3 hours. It should be a fucking success. All right. That's great. So after the stream, I'm going to probably make this into a proper library, and next stream we're going to implement this in kata. And there is a grand scheme to this. Don't worry, there is a grand scheme to this. There always is. But that's gonna end it for today. If you're still watching on Twitch, fucking in the about page is the VOD channel for this. If you're on YouTube, link is always in the description for the Twitch. Come on over to the Twitch, and I think that will do it. Yeah. Make sure to like and comment if you're on YouTube. See you guys all. I think the next stream's probably going to be tomorrow. It's probably going to be tomorrow. I always try and do early afternoon. but I don't always do that. So I'm going to say tomorrow early afternoon. Yeah, that's a flexible schedule. So thanks everybody for watching. I'll see you guys in the next stream. Peace. Stay safe.